Hello, my name is Joii Cooper, and this is The Good Life, where we offer biblical solutions to life's challenges. This program is offered to you by Faith Victory Church, where our pastors are Pastor Mark and Pastor Donna Owings. Thank you for joining us today, and let's get started. Today's question is, what are you saying? What are you saying? I want to look at Genesis chapter 1, right at the very beginning. We're going to start at the very beginning, but these first three verses are so pivotal, and even the whole chapter, but we're going to focus in on the first three verses. So, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Aren't those amazing verses? God spoke light into existence, and then light was and still is. So we're going to look at this. What are we saying? What we say has creative power. And you might say, why? Well, the answer is because we were made in the image of God. If you turn over and look at verse 26 of the same chapter, it says, "Then God said, let us make man in our own image according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God gave us dominion and authority. Just like he could speak into darkness and light appear, we can do the same thing. So what are we saying? It's so important that we watch what we say, because whether we realize it or not, our words have creative power, just like our Father God's does. So are we aligning our words with the plan of the enemy? Or are we aligning our words with the plan of God? So often you hear people say, "Oh, every year this time I get sick. Oh, my kids are crazy. Oh, I can never get a break. Oh, this car, it's a piece of junk." What are you saying? What are you saying? We have the power to change things by what we say. And then I started looking further in the chapter, Genesis chapter 1, and I realized this: God did more with his words than he did with his hands. Over and over and over and over in this first chapter, it says, God said, and then such and such happened. God said, and then such and such happened. And so if we're made in his image, we too can say, and such happen. So we are to align our words with the plan of God. We can speak change. We can speak, and a lot of what we say can be confessing the word, can be, as we talked about last time, earnest prayer. That's saying. So, what are we saying in times of trouble? What are we saying in times of bad report? What are we saying? It's so important not to use our words. No, it's so important not to waste our words. We are to use our words strategically. God didn't just waste words. He didn't just say things to say them. And he definitely didn't say things that he didn't want. And so what I see here in verse 2, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And so what that showed me is when the world was dark and nothing, God spoke, "Let there be light," and there was. So you might say, I've got a dire situation, Or you might say, oh my goodness, all the things that are going on in our world. Oh my goodness, it's too dark for my words. Nope, nope, nope. God said, let there be light when there was none, when there was darkness, when there was just complete void. He spoke, let there be light, and light was. And so then I looked at, well, what does, when it says God said in verse 3, what does the word said mean? So I looked up in a Bible concordance. If you don't have one, you should purchase one because it's just a great resource to help you get down to the meat of the meanings of words, because the Bible was not written in English. The Bible was written in Hebrew and Greek. And so the concordance will help you get to deeper definitions and meanings of our English words. So the word said means to say, to answer, to say in one's heart, to command, to challenge, to declare, to demand, and to desire. So when God said, let there be light, he commanded it. Pretty much it was light be, and light was. So we could say, peace be. Jesus did that. He said, peace be still, in a storm that was raging and throwing and shifting this boat. He said, peace be still. Well, what can we say with our words? We could say, love, come on the scene. Peace, be here. We could say these things. We could say, body, be healed. We can say, lack, go away. What can we say? What are you saying? So this was just so encouraging to me because sometimes we know these things, but we need an adjustment. We need to be realigned. We need to be refocused on God's word, on his will, on his plan, and on his method. We can say things. God's words have creative power, but so do mine, because he's given me his image. He made me in his image. He gave me authority and dominion, and I'm going to use them. So this is so good. This is so good. And then we see Jesus. Jesus did the same thing, because why? He always did what his father did. He that's what he told us. Let's look at John chapter 5 and verse 19. Then Jesus answered and said to them, most assuredly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he sees the Father do. For whatever he does, the Son also does in like manner. So Jesus, that's how Jesus operated. He used his words. He used his words to call Lazarus out of the grave. He used his words to provide food for thousands of people. He used his words to tell Jairus, only believe, don't fear. What are we using our words for? What are we saying? Let's look at John, because we can do the same thing. John 14 and verse 12. And this is Jesus speaking. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he will do also. And greater works than these he will do, because I go to my Father. And whatever you ask, which is another word for saying, whatever you say in my name, that I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. We could also say, if you say anything in my name, I will do it. So let's get to it. Let's get to saying some things. Let's get to changing circumstances and situations by our God-backed words. Stop aligning your mouth with the devil. Let's stop doing it. And I'm not saying anything to you that I don't have to say to myself. I've said things that were like, who told you that? Like, is that God's plan or is that the devil's plan? And the thing about it is, what you cannot do is say what you see. Because so often that's what we end up doing. We're saying what we're seeing instead of saying what we want to see. So we have creative power in our words. Let's use them. Let's be led by the Spirit of God as to what to say. Let's say, love be. Let's say, peace be. Let's say, lack go. Let's say, health come. What are we saying? What are you saying? So I challenge you, before you open your mouth, think, is this aligning with the plan of God or with the plan of the enemy? Check your words. Don't waste words. Don't just throw out words thinking that your words have no consequence, because they have great consequence. So let's affect some things. Let's work together with God. This is exciting. Let's work together with God and see some things in this world that He wants. We can do it. I know we can do it because the word says we can. So I hope this was an encouragement to you. I hope that you were blessed by this and that you will start using your words to glorify God and get God's work done here in the earth. Again, this is The Good Life, where we offer biblical solutions to life's challenges. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you, and have a great, great, great day. Bye-bye.